Right guys, so this is the start of a new week. It's a Sunday. This is Abdullah.
Hello.
So we've also got a big crew with us. We've got Phil there and then Maddie as well. So we're starting off the week with a Celtics game, Celtics versus Wizards. I guess this is one of the benefits of living in a city like Boston, where you can go and see a championship winning team just down the road. So looking forward to a game and hopefully a big victory today. What's the score prediction for today?
19-16.
Perfect, let's see. All right, let's see what happens. Right guys, so that is the game finished. It ended 124 points to the Celtics, a resounding victory. It was a great Sunday night of entertainment together with some of the Harvard gang. And yeah, that was day one of this week in the life. So it's going to be an exciting week, showing you in the spring semester this time what a week in Harvard looks like for a grad student, and also what I do when I fly back to London during the week as well. So should be an action-packed week. Hope it's insightful and look forward to sharing more. Morning guys, happy Monday. We are recording another week in the life here at Harvard. Despite what the weather looks like, we are actually in the spring semester right now. So Monday morning, had a couple of calls this morning with the team back in the UK. We've got a few projects ongoing at the moment where we've got some capital expenditure in the hundreds of thousands. So sorting that out, making sure from a financial standpoint we're in a strong position, which we are. And then also we've been able to secure financial runway for all our ongoing projects and secure also the next purchase as well for another project that we have coming up. So overall, really good, productive morning. Just finished the workout. So heading back to my apartment to get ready and walk over to Harvard for the first class of the week, which I'll talk about after I've got home and got changed. So keep you posted and yeah, see you in the next part. Right guys, so good morning. Heading to class now, which is the first class of the week on Monday. This semester in spring, I'm taking 3 classes, so that's 12 credits overall, and also helping out as part of a teaching team in the negotiation and leadership module as well. So relatively lighter agenda compared to the fall semester, which is when I recorded the previous video, but still giving me a good balance of different subjects and areas I want to develop further. In today's class, the subject is moral leadership, and it's all around ethics and philosophies and using different philosophical frameworks to be a better and more moral leader, especially in today's climate. Today's lecture specifically is around pessimism and also anger. So as a leader, you're going to have to deal with these types of emotions, whether individually or also within your team. So it's about harnessing those different emotions, depending on the environment, how you can use those to project yourself and the team to move forward. So it's a really interesting discussion. It took a while for me to warm up to this class, but I'm really enjoying it now. So I will share more about this specific class after the class is done.
But if you do claim to love your country, then likely you are going to live in this ambivalence between many things that you're proud of.
So that was our moral leadership class done for Monday. There's a great discussion. We talked about anger and grief and how these are emotions that initially on the surface you may think they have negative connotations in terms of, as a leader, if you feel anger or if you feel grief, it's not something that is a worthwhile tool sharing with your team or your broader organization or your company. But in today's lecture, we talked about the value that you can have both internally for yourself as a leader, but also for the broader organization that you're trying to lead, that displaying forms of anger and grief and the understanding of it can actually unlock a certain level of support and direction in terms of where you're trying to go as a team, as an organization, or as an individual. So it's super eye-opening discussion, really enjoyed it, and really enjoying this particular class around moral leadership and ethics. It's not something that I've worked on a lot in the past, but actually it's been a really eye-opening course and helping me understand parts about my own history and my personal preference that I didn't realize I had actually. So very, very eye-opening. And had a small break in between, so I had the opportunity to catch up for lunch with some friends and also go over some Arnold Capital Group work that we had pending. We have a few properties where we are going through renovation process. We have an ongoing development project as well, which is almost close to being finished. And we've also just had the refinance process as well, with some investors coming on board as well. So overall, a very productive middle slot of the day. After this, we have the final class for the Monday, which is Bridging the Divide. The professor there is Professor Anthony Fox, who's a former transport secretary here in the US. I've loved his class this semester because he brings in guests that he has good relationships with, and they talk about how they are bridging the divide in terms of their work that they've done. We've had a former Supreme Court justice come in who talked about bridging the divide when it comes to law discussions at the Supreme Court, which is the highest law body here in the US. The professor also brought in some companies that he advises as well. One of them was Thomas Tull, who is the co-founder of Legendary Pictures, and he was able to sell his stake in the company for more than $3 billion. And he was explaining about his professional career, what he's had to go through in terms of communicating, leading, and creating value. And together with his partners, how they're able to create this value and this multi-billion-dollar exit. And now through that journey, he's had to bridge the divide, the communication gaps and leadership gaps across his organization to ultimately get to a much bigger goal that surpassed his expectation as well. So love this class. And today we'll be going into some tough negotiation simulations, but it should be interesting. I'll share more about that when we wrap up today's videos later on today. That's all for now. We're going to do some pre-work for the next class and see you in the next video.
Has it affected you personally?
Well, I'm sure it has. I love my grandchildren. I want to think that they're going to be able to afford an education.
Okay, so that is Monday classes done. Really good discussion. We had a communications head come in to explain about communicating in hostile environments, and he has advised multiple presidents in the past during campaigns and during elections, and he was able to share his tips and perspectives on navigating hostile conversations, whether it's when you're being interviewed, whether it's in a debate, whether you're having a heated discussion with someone who has an opposing point of view. Some really good practical tips, and overall another great session. So that is a very busy one done. Heading home. So see you tomorrow. Morning guys. Happy Tuesday. Today, just walking to the gym now on this very wet day here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. What was exciting is yesterday we launched our 8th YouTube video where we were celebrating a big milestone, and that milestone was essentially 2,000 subscribers in 2 months, which is a fantastic achievement. Hopefully by the time this video is released, we've hit another milestone as well, but it was a really nice celebration. So thank you for everyone who's been watching and subscribing and liking our videos, and we're happy that it's been useful. Today's Tuesday, so that means just on my way to the gym, do a morning workout. On Tuesdays, that's the day where I'm actually part of a teaching team on a course called Negotiations and Leadership. And if you watched the previous Week in the Life series, you see that I was actually a student in that course last semester. And this semester, because I enjoyed it so much, I asked if I could be part of the teaching team. So I'm part of the teaching team here as well. Yeah, I'll talk about that more once I finish this workout and we're back in university. Morning guys, so workout done. now on the way to Harvard. So as already mentioned, today is a teaching day and specifically helping out on the course negotiation and leadership. What this entails is we basically help the professor share the course materials with the class. We also offer study group sessions and office hours with the pupils in the class, and then tracking participation and ensuring the whole class gets the full experience from the professor. What's also interesting about the Harvard experience is that they track participation, and participation can range from anywhere from 20 to 50% of the grade in class. So we help the professor to ensure that everyone's participating. We get a fair representation of all dynamics within the group as well. And yeah, something that I wasn't aware of until coming here, how much participation is important, which also means preparation is key as well, because you could potentially be cold called. The professor may ask you a question about what's going on or the case study that's being discussed. So it's very, very important to prepare well and then also be confident enough to put your hand up and express your opinion as well. So I'm really enjoying this element of the experience of the semester, being on the teaching side. And because I did the course myself last semester in the fall, there's an added bonus of relearning everything that I learned last semester. And as well as that, the team that I'm doing it with and the professor himself, they're great people. So it's really been enjoyable. So I'll see you after the class.
I just thought of it. I remember hearing my class
Right, guys, so that was the teaching element of today done. So that was from 10:30 a.m. to 11:45 as part of the teaching team for negotiation and leadership. Today's class was great because the professor spoke about the importance of projection as a leader and how, as a leader, you don't necessarily ever have an off button. So what you convey in your messages, what you say to your team, what you discuss is one element of projection as a leader. But the most important component that people may not be aware of is when you're leading an organization or a team or a family or whatever responsibilities that you have, there is a component that people are watching the way you interact with others, the way you communicate to others, what you value as well. So there's an element of leadership where you can never really switch off. And it's important that whatever you're projecting is authentic because of the fact that you can't switch it off. So not being your authentic self can end up leading to people being drained and feeling tired. So it's really eye-opening and just emphasize how important authenticity is in leadership and how you should always be conscious of the way that you're behaving and the signals that that is sending for the teams around you or organization around you. So it was a great class, really enjoyed it. As mentioned already, I was a student in this class last semester, so now being on this side and going through the content again as part of the teaching team is also a really enriching experience and a great refresher as well. Over now at the business school. So later on today, I'm having lunch with Vishal. Vishal, you may remember from our previous Week in the Life series of Harvard. Vishal is a startup founder here in the business school with an AI healthcare business. And I've been given the good fortune to help advise him. So yeah, we're catching up today. And then after that, today is also another exciting day because we have an interview where we're interviewing Professor Amy Edmondson, who's a management and leadership professor here in the business school as well. And she's been kind enough to offer some of her time for an interview series, which I think by the time this video comes out of a Week in the Life spring semester, her interview has already been released. And from the discussions that we're planning to have, it should really be a great discussion. So pretty full agenda today, no classes, but more teaching and doing a few other topics beyond the classes. So yeah, look forward to hopefully sharing some clips from the interview with Professor Amy Edmondson and then seeing how we wrap up this Tuesday afternoon.
And so I'll just say, first of all, you're not alone. Like most people, young and old, will err on the side of holding back. Like will err on the side of not using their voice in situations where they're just not quite sure that their voice will be well received. That's a mistake.
So that is the interview with Professor Amy Edmondson done. Really looking forward to seeing how that is edited and distributed. Almost finished with Tuesday now, heading over to the Kennedy School for a study group with a former Prime Minister who is here talking about education policy. So yeah, it should be exciting, an amazing opportunity to connect with a leader of a country to give their perspective on education and policy, which is also one of the reasons why we started this channel, to share what we're learning as well. So looking forward to the study group session, and then after that we'll be wrapping up the Tuesday in this week in the life.
Tuesdays for the next 3 weeks. So, in a sense, what I tell through this study group.
That is the study group finished with the former Prime Minister of Jordan, which was very interesting as we were talking about education policy and how different countries have different forms of education policy and how some are more effective than others, and some great examples shared within the group of people from all across the world. So super insightful. It's been a busy day today, heading back home to finish off the study group assignment, and then we're done for the day.